Get it out. Get it. Này. Đấy. Bye. Bye. Come here. Duke, get out. Oh, make sure he stays there. Come here. Oh. 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 Cast up. Ah. Careful. Careful. Ah. Careful. Oh. Ah. Oh. No. Stop there. Duke, back. 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 Oh. Nope. 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 Hey. Nope. Hey. Hey, back. Back here. Oh, back. Back here. Back, back. Oh. Nope. Nope. Oh. I cast out. Oh. No. Hip. Come here. 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 Oh. Come here. Here. Hip. Okay, good day everybody. We have a video today I'd like to share with you guys some issues I've had with Duke Earl, but also there is a lady called Anna, I don't remember her last name, but she asked a question just on the last video, I guess it was, about that she has a horse of her own, and she says she's having some issues with this horse. The horse will not stand good when she asks him to stand. He doesn't stand good. He or she either backs up or goes ahead, just doesn't stand. He's fidgety and just continually moving his feet and just not standing good. So I want to maybe address that a little bit so that I might be able to help her out. Today, when I hitch these guys up to this cart, of course, I'm in the process of explaining how to get horses to stand good. And I was so pleased that how well they hitched onto the cart. They don't always do that good, but they did today. And it's good to be able to talk about how good they did, how to do it after you guys just seeing how it happened. It would have been a little bit embarrassing to attempt to try for me to explain how to get your horses to stand still if I couldn't even get my horses to stand still while hitched up. But let me tell you this, my horses don't always stand still. They're not always perfect. I have shown my horses at bad points many a times. My horses are really good. I'm very pleased with my horses, and most of the time they do mind good, but they don't always mind. And that's just the way it is with horses. You can't expect perfection all the time. If you get it once in a while, just enjoy that time, because it's not always going to be that way. So anyway, this lady had asked, how might I be able to help my horse to mind better and to stand good? Now there's so many things about this horse I don't know. You know, I'd like to know, is it a draft horse? What type of draft horse it is? Is it? How old of a horse is it? What are you feeding this horse? What has this horse done before you got him? There's so many questions that I really need to know before I could really help you in the process of working on this problem. But I'm going to start off by talking about my problems though. So not yesterday, it was 2-3 days ago now, we put up some beautiful hay. And so we were out in the field. Come here. Hey, come here. Oh. We were out in the field raking with these two right here. And I had mowed the day before with Bill and Baron, I guess it was. But I was raking with just these two. These two have only been worked together as a team just a few times. So this is Duke and Earl. These are my 4-year-olds. These are the ones I've had for a long time, and I've trained them right from the start, and I've showed most of that training with you guys. So this was the second time they raked, I think, all by themselves. And they were almost 90% done with the field, and they were doing so good. But when you come to a center of a field, you have these really sharp corners you have to turn with a rake. And they started giving me troubles. If they were with, at that time, an older, matured horse, they would not have given me those troubles. But since they were two young colts, they gave me some troubles. And the troubles they did is, to start with, it all started with Duke. And other people have asked, why do I not use Duke as much as I do Earl? Do I like Earl better? Well, maybe a tiny little bit better because he is Baron's full brother, and he does seem to work really good. Duke works very good too, but it's just a little bit different. Earl has a little bit more spirit than Duke. Duke is more laid back. He's kind of like Ken. Him and Ken would make a great team. But anyways, we were just about done, and I had to turn the sharp corner. And as I was turning to the right, the tongue, not this cart here, but the tongue of the cart I was using, was hitting him in the leg. Well, he's been hit in the leg before. It's not really an issue. But he was getting tired. He'd been raking for a while. And he kicked his foot and jumped and kind of bucked and kind of kicked his foot out. And there was no harm done. But I came up to the end of the field, and he did it again. But the problem is, when he did it this second time, he kicked his foot, this inside foot, over. I think he went over the tongue to start with, and he kicked his foot back over back to the right side of the tongue. But his foot was still on the wrong side. You know, his foot was on this side of the tug. So here he was with that tug on the inside of his leg, putting a lot of pressure there. I was ready for a possible runaway, because those things have happened to me before. So I was ready to turn them into the woods so they could stop them with the trees. And I surely didn't want to do that, but it's just a little ways to the woods, so I would have. But that was not an issue. They stood really well, even with his foot on the wrong side of the tug. So then I was able to calm him down, and it took a few minutes to do it. But he finally calmed down, and I jumped out and I unhitched the tugs, and I was getting his foot back where it belonged. I quick got him hitched up. But Earl was not working good either. He was just wanting to go and wanting to turn the opposite way. So I finally got him hitched up, and it was obvious they would turn to the left better than to the right, which is coming Earl's way. So that's what I did. I just finished the field. You know, I came to the end and kind of turned to the right to get the job done. And we came home. On the way home, we still had more troubles because we had some issues on the road. So anyways, and it was all from Duke. And it was all because I've been working Earl more than Duke, I'm sure. So now I need to start practicing on some things with Duke so he's not doing this. So I decided, instead of hitching him onto maybe my sled or something today, I decided to hitch him onto this light cart and just practice turning them. Practice them spinning in circles. And so that's what I'm going to do. So, and I'm going to do that in a minute, but getting back to this Anna that asked me this question, one of the big things that a horse needs to do, whether it's a team or horse, is just this right here. Have them all hitched up to something and tied. They will learn so much about standing just by spending time tied. Have a really good spot where they're safe to be able to tie your horse or your team, so they can spend hours and hours and hours just standing still. And that's what they need to do. The next process is to be able to get on the cart and make them stand before you go. And that's a process you have to do. I remember with Baron working for a long time, I was working him single. It took me a long, long time to be able to get on the cart without him moving before I told him to. But over time I got it, so he's good. Now with these guys, they're not so good with that, especially with just a cart, because it's really easy to move. If I have my heavy sled here, they can't really move it until I get on the sled anyways, unless I tell them to go, they got to pull hard. But on the cart, it's different now. So I will let go, unhitch them, and I'll quick get back here to get on, and then I'll make them stand here till I want them to go. And that's what you have to do with your horse. You have to make them, over the course of time, make them mine, and that's one way to do it. Have them tied to the truck body for long periods of time, and then when you go to get on, make sure they stand still before you tell them to go.
Okay, so is it better then to hitch them to something that they can't move first?
No, you don't want to ever hitch them to something they can't move.
No, but
I understand what you're saying, though. But yes, if they were hitched to the sled, something heavy back here that they can't move easily, or they can't move if you got a team, one horse can't move it without them both pulling. That makes them stand better. That teaches them to stand still. When I first started working these two, if I had them hitched to the car, they'd be backing up, forward, back all the time. And Baron did the same thing. But just over time, you get them to not do that. Now with a cart, if I didn't have my sled, I would hitch something behind them, like even a log, just so that they can't, with a really tight hitch, so they can't do too much backing forward, going back and forward. So I am going to unhitch these guys, but before I do, I want my lines. These are pretty long lines. They can hang like this. I want my lines so I can come around really fast and grab them and get on the cart before they take off. Because I know they don't stand the best. When they're with an experienced horse right here, they stand pretty good. But with two young ones, they do not stand the best. Sometimes they're pretty good. They don't always hitch good either. But you saw them being hitched this morning. They hitched almost perfectly. So it just depends some. The more they work, the better they get. But they, what did they do yesterday? Yes, I had them itch. So Earl worked with Bill on my scoot, my heavy sled, and Baron worked with Duke on the heavy sled. So they got some exercise yesterday. So that's a good thing. So we'll see what happens. As you can see right here, this is something I do not like at all. In my mind, it's totally unacceptable. But Earl and Baron are so much the same way. They both like to sit in their haunches, sit in their britchin, and hold back. So as you can see right here, look at this. Look at the rope. It's tight. You know, he's not standing up here like he should. He's hanging right back on that rope. I don't like that one bit. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh. 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 Now I know he is not going to be good. He's going to be wanting to take right off really fast. So I unhitched Duke, and I don't think he'll be quite so much of a problem. And then I'm ready to run back there. So you go over there, Brenda. Oh. Just go back there out of the way. Oh. Oh. So when they're with an experienced horse, that experienced horse stands still like a statue. And then so when you're ready to go, they'll go, because not until then, because you've got an experienced horse beside them. But what I do, and this is, I've told this one other time, I remember talking about this, having the blinders on the bridles, it allows me to get behind them like this. They don't know, they can't, they think I'm still here because I'm getting after him to stand still like this. No. But now when I get past this point where he can't see me, he doesn't know I'm right here. I mean, he thinks I'm right here. So, but because of that, I can, in a moment's notice, just kind of real quick run back there, oh, and grab the lines, oh. Oh, 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 oh. Stop there. No, 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 oh, oh, no, no, Earl, ho, ho, ho. So as you can see, they're not doing good at all, ho. I'm not going to make them stand too long. As soon as I get just a second when they stand still, calf stop. Then I'm going to ask them to go, calf stop. They need some walking. They've been in the barn all day, which they love to be in the barn. With the flies that we've been having lately, they love being in the barn. But because of it, they're feeling pretty good. So each time you do this and come back and make them stand again, they're more apt to be a little bit better every time. But you've got to do it every day, or mostly every day. It's the only way they're going to get the hang of it if you're consistently working them. If you just hitch them up once a week, it's just going to take so much longer to get very good, and they may not ever get that good because you just don't hitch them up enough. But when I'm driving them, just like you, Anna, if you're driving your single horse, get them a little bit tired before you spend too much time making them stand. These guys know somewhat how to work, so they will stand fairly good. Now, for some reason, Duke has been an issue on the road. He's been here, you know, basically all his life, but when a big truck goes by, and I see a big truck down there coming, whoa, I guess they're not coming up. I was hoping he'd come up and see if he freaked out. But he's parked, so I guess he's not going to. Calf stop. Calf stop. They're spread manure down the road, and they have their big tanker truck down there. And for some reason, Duke has been kind of freaked out over the big trucks. I don't think it's going to be hard to get him over that, but for some reason he has been a little bit freaky over that. Oh. So I've taught this so many times in different videos, training videos, the importance of making them stand and making them, you know, do all this, and it's so important to be consistently doing that. So Anna, if you've not watched some of my other videos of training these two colts, you might want to go back to them, and maybe you can pick up a few bits and pieces of things to do. So this tractor trailer is coming up the road, and I'm curious, we're going to attempt to hold these guys right here and see if they behave. Oh. So it's so often the case, when you want them to do good, they don't, and when you want them to do bad, they don't. Duke wasn't concerned with that tractor trailer behind him at all, so that's good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead here, test up. And so the problem I was dealing with was turning to my right. Turning to my left was not a problem at all. Now, the whole hayfield, I was turning to the right. So it didn't really bother them until they got to the right, to the very center of the field where you had to turn really, really sharp. That's where the issue came. So I will show you what I mean here. So I'm going to turn to the left, and when you come to the hayfield, you got to turn really sharp. So it's like this. They sidestep right over, and Earl is very good at it. He's had a few days in the woods. He's had a lot more experience. With turning left like that. So his leg never hit the pole at all. It also is directly in between his tugs. Whereas Duke, when he was turning to the left, the tongue wasn't bothering him, but his outside tug was. See how tight even it is right now? He's against that outside tug. So to do it properly, you want their bodies in between the tugs without hitting anything. So now I'm going to turn to the right in that sharp, sharp turn that we have and see if he ends up hitting the tongue. See over here. G, 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 G. Oh. I don't know if you saw that, but he was ready to kick that foot. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. So that's the problem I'm having. It's not a major problem. It's just a problem I have to deal with. So I'm going to continue working him today on this cart, turning those sharp, sharp turns. But fortunately, I don't have to worry about the rake behind me and messing up my raking job. I just need to practice turning and hitting, having him learn how to stand between the tugs. If he stands between the tugs, there's no pressure on his legs on either side. There's no pressure on the outside leg, but there's no pressure from the tongue on the inside leg. So let's try it again. I'll go straight and then I'll turn hard to the right. I cuffed up. This problem is a very common problem. It could happen with a single horse in shafts. It can happen with a team. That's why I like to swap sides with the horses, put them on the left and on the right-hand side, so that they get used to it on both sides. But the secret, or the thing that you need to learn, is to walk in between those tugs. And I can teach him even better now by not having the rake behind me. G. Okay, so this is exactly what they were doing the other day. He turned around part way, and then he just kind of balked up. He didn't want to turn anymore. And so as soon as he started balking up and causing trouble, Earl was the same way. He just was not mature enough to just push Duke right over there. If my older horses were with Duke, it would teach him to do that so much better. I need to start mowing hay again tomorrow, and I'm not going to use these two together at all for a little while. They're going to go be working with the other horses to learn better of the process of turning. For Duke especially, Earl is good. All right, G. Steps up. This is exactly what they did yesterday. Even when I got after them with a whip, they wouldn't respond. They wouldn't go ahead. They just tried to back right up. So what I need to do, because of this situation, what I'm going to do is actually turn them to the left again, which is, yes, that's allowing them to win, you could say. But sometimes you got to allow them to win just to teach them lessons of how to do it and realize it's not going to happen like that to fix some of these problems. And it's surprising. The whip, man, sometimes it's just no good. Sometimes you hit this, get after the horses. They're so much worse. Probably because I don't use the whip much. But, so we need to just drive them around a little bit. Kept up. Careful, careful. What I'm going to do, instead of making those sharp corners, I'm going to make a really wide corner. Now right here is the worst place I could do it because the barn is in front of me. Careful. G, 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 G. Oh, now back. So since they didn't turn to the right, and they want to back, I'm going to back them right up. Oh, oh. I tapped up. Tapped up. Oh, no, oh. This is why it's so difficult sometimes to train a pair of colts together, especially if you're inexperienced. You know, I can deal with this. These are the problems that are simple enough to fix. But by having that experienced horse with them, which they've only been hitched together like 3 times now, that experienced horse does so much. But they need to learn this, and they will. I kept up. Comes another tanker. So instead of, and these are the things that I did way back when they're younger, when I was starting the training process. I would go left around the driveway, then right around the driveway. Well, apparently I didn't do it to the right as much as I should have because that's the problem I'm having. By going on a trail that they're used to will allow them to turn so much easier too. Like Duke is used to walking this loop, so he's more apt to turn properly on these corners this way. So another thing I would suggest, if this is an option for you, when you have a horse that's dealing with a problem like I'm dealing with right now, and you don't have the experience, it's so important to get help if you can. And hopefully I can think of some ways even now to help you to, if you have these problems, to know what to do to help you out. Because what happens sometimes is your horse that's a little bit more experienced, which would be Earl, can get discouraged really, really fast if the inexperienced horse, which is Duke, does not do what he's supposed to be doing. It will discourage Earl really fast. And then he'll, stop not working properly. I kept up. So what I need to do is just continually work on these right-hand corners. And I don't know exactly how and why this came about to be such a problem, but it's definitely a problem, and I'm going to have to deal with it. Careful. So now, because he is walking a right-hand corner fine, I'll continue doing it. Like I said, tomorrow they hopefully will be split up and work with the older horses mowing hay. That's the plan anyways. We still have we're just coming off this really wet stretch, so we still have a lot of hay ground that is sitting in water, so we've got to be careful where we mow. It's very hard to dry hay if it's standing in water. So now what I'm going to do after I get around this corner here by the mailbox, I'm going to swing up halfway across the driveway and go a little bit farther and make a really, really sharp right-hand turn and go around the opposite way. And see if I get into trouble there. So Anna, I'd love to hear a little bit more from you, even on those first questions I asked about. And who knows, maybe I can help you fix this problem. So now I'm going to take a lot sharper turn. See how well they went? So much better, not a problem at all. And what happens when you have an episode like we had a couple days ago where he kicked his foot and got over the tugs, it gets them scared. And so they remember that. They remember that so clearly. And so for a while now, I've got to be very careful not to take those sharp turns until I'm ready. Careful, huh? Come on. Come on. I'm going to turn Earl over here. I'm going to make one more sharp right-hand turn, and now I'm going to call it quits for their lesson. Here we go. This is going to be a little tricky. Be careful. 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 Oh. Oh, good boys. So I'm very pleased with how well they did. They did just great. So I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to back them into the barn, and that's going to be their lesson for today. I might even try one more thing even right here. I'm going to have him back up, and I'm going to turn to the right one more time and see if he causes trouble, and then we'll put him away. Back up there. Back. G. Careful, G. G. That was so much better. I was very pleased with that. So now we'll see if we can back them into the barn, and I hope this might be a help to somebody in the process of them working their own horses. Oh. Bye. 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 Oh. Hip. Hey boys. I step. Calf step. G. Oh. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you guys have questions, especially I'm very much wanting to help guys that have horses that may have some issues. And I surely don't know all the answers, but if there's any answers I could give to some of your questions, that'd be great. So please put down some questions in the comments of what you're dealing with your horses, and I'll see if I can help. Have a good day. We'll see you next time. Oh. Nip, back. Oh. Oops. Yep. Oh. Yep. Hey, good job. Good job there. Hey, come here. Yep. Okay. That's all for now, folks.